In the world of statue collecting, one often wonders what exactly is a grail. Is it truly the holy chalice that Christ drank out of? Is it something that's almost impossible to find, such as an honest politician? To me, a grail in the statue realm is something you've wanted for a really, really long time and have not been able to attain it. And this piece in front of me was a grail, but now it's not. Kind of like my bank account. Used to be full, now it's not. As the Extreme channel is pushing towards 50,000 subscribers, these are just a few of the statues we're giving away on the journey there. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Hey everybody, I really appreciate you tuning in for looking at this Tsume 1/6 scale One Punch Man statue. I am beyond ecstatic to have this in the house, not only because it has been a grail of mine for a long, long time, but he is just phenomenally done. First, let me kind of close in what I was talking about in the intro. To me, a grail is a statue you really, really want, but you've been unable to attain. However, once you attain that statue, it is no longer a grail because you have it. You are no longer pursuing that impossible thing. Another grail that I have is right here. This is Sideshow's Pumpkinhead piece. Now, if you're a follower of the channel, you know that this may lose its grail status because I am getting a new Pumpkinhead statue that PCS Collectibles recently announced, and I went ahead and ordered it. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. Today, we're going to talk about Saitama. Saitama? I still don't know how the fuck to say his name. But Saitama is from the One Punch Man anime. He is the main character, and recently I actually ended up buying this statue right here. Same character, this is 1/4 scale from XM Studios. And while I quite like that, this is the statue I really wanted because the concept of this piece, to me, more captures the character. But we're going to find out which one is better. We're not going to do that today, but we are going to do what we call an Extrumble or an Extreme Rumble. That's where we compare that statue to this statue. So make sure you've not only liked this video, but you subscribe to the channel and you've hit that bell notification so you catch that video when it launches. But today we're going to do an extreme review on this piece, and you can go back and catch more background about One Punch Man, but in essence, in my mind, it's almost a comedy that's an awesome anime with a lot of action. The main character, Saitama, is just a weird-ass guy. He doesn't care about much. He essentially is the most powerful hero out there among a lot of competitive heroes. And the way he acts and the way he got his powers is just hilarious. So as you can see in this statue, One Punch Man, he can kill anything or destroy anything with one punch. For the most part, I've only watched season 1. Let's dive into the concept of this piece and talk about why I like it so much. So on the bottom, you have a sub base here. Now, I'm not sure what the purpose of this sub base is. I wish it was all rock. I hate it when they have the name on the front. However, I do like how they did the name. It's actually indented into it. We'll talk more about that in Paint and Sculpt. Then you have a rocky base. Now, on this rocky base, it looks like something fell on it. Maybe it was the monster. Maybe Saitama landed on it. But it looks like there's definitely some big action going on here. He is standing there, bored, on his way home from grabbing groceries, which is such his character. Like I said, monsters are almost an afterthought. They're kind of annoying to him, but he saves the world over and over. And behind him is a giant, crazy beast. Not only a crazy beast, but a beast that he destroyed clearly with his hand holding up one punch. He punched out all its guts. It's actually coming out the back. It's falling backwards. This concept is phenomenal. I love every part of this. The monster is freaking out. He can't believe that such a mild-mannered guy with dish gloves on his arms and a homemade cape actually destroyed him. I love this concept. I was really looking forward to it. Now that I have it in front of me, I would rate it higher than 5 out of 5 if I could. However, unfortunately, that's where the extreme scale caps. Now with design, not a ton going on here. But first we'll look at the unboxing and assembly. Now, it's been a crazy week, and I usually film every part of the boxes for you guys, and this came in 2 huge, gigantic boxes, and I lost some of the footage, so here is just the inside of one box, and then some of the other stuff that it came with. Here are instructions on how to put it together, which was helpful with the ribs, and the COA that they keep with it, as well as a little small metal COA plaque. Tsume typically does. so let me measure him for you. So keep in mind he's 1/6 scale. That means a real life version of this character would be 6 times larger. But because the monster is so large, he's right at, I'd say about 24 inches. And the diameter of the base is about 18 or so. Keep in mind his arm sticks out a little bit more, so there's areas where it's a little bit wider than others. There are 2 portrait displays for the main character here. So first is very anime-like, the one where he's really, really bored. And this is really evident in the first part of the season. And then the other one is he's more serious, more of a badass. And we saw this at the end of season 1. And while I didn't initially like this portrait as much, it's growing on me quite a bit because he can play both characters. He can play the guy that's just hilarious and doesn't really care about much and people and monsters annoy him, or the one where he's really becoming this awesome superhero using his powers. Now I know you're thinking, how can he kill anything with one punch? Well, he did 100 push-ups and 100 sit-ups and 100 other exercises every day, and supposedly that's how he got his powers, which is so crazy because it's so stupid, but it works. And I think that's what makes this anime great. Everything fit together really well. As you saw me assemble the bones on the back here, they are numbered. I actually had to look at the instructions. I love the dynamic part of this. I think that's an important part when we talk about design. He's falling backwards, his guts are falling out. I think they gotta get a lot of points for that because it's working really well. Mine isn't 100% flush in, and it might have been just the way I actually inserted him. You saw me have a little bit of trouble with that. But Saitama is actually walking here as well. So it's really ambitious. Everything fits really well. It's a strong 4 out of 5, almost a perfect 4 out of 5. Unfortunately, it's not sitting in completely flush. Paint and sculpt is equally impressive. I have a few other Tsume pieces, not very many. Most recently, I got this Vegeta right here, which is one of my favorite Dragon Ball Z pieces. But this one is equally impressive. Check it out. So in usual fashion, let's go ahead and start at the bottom here with this black sub base. Not sure the purpose of it. Maybe it's supposed to be of the hero headquarters or something of that nature. It's kind of this matte black. I like it. A few of the ridges and nodules in it. What's really cool is the nameplate here. While I don't like nameplates, I like how this is indented. So from farther away, you can really tell it says his name. Pretty cool, pretty different. I think the rocks look great. They did a really nice job. This reminds me of their Vegeta statue. I like the shading, but especially the texture. It looks like real rock, and I like how everything's jutted out, like the center of the statue is a large force. Maybe it was the monster landing on it. Maybe it was the impact of his punch also broke up the wood beneath him. There's some cool browns they added into those gray and white colors that really just make the base look fantastic. Regarding Saitama here, check out his boots, kind of a smooth leather-like texture on the boots and the gloves, a few different shades of red. This looks much better than he does in the actual anime, gives it kind of this realistic vibe. Same thing about his suit. Tiny textures in there. It's almost like this tiny pattern with the different shades of the yellow, especially in the indentations of his muscle. He looks a lot more muscular here than you typically see him in the anime, which I'm okay with. He's got the belt with his One Punch Man symbol, kind of an off gold. The zipper could have been a little bit better right here. It's probably the biggest flaw in the statue regarding the sculpt. I like the cape. Again, they have this tiny little texture variation in it, some grays and whites, how it's flowing in the wind. He's kind of taking a step back, very dynamic. Looks like he has leeks or some kind of produce in the bag right here. Looks good. Very colorful, makes it pop. All the colors do on here. Here's his portrait. Kind of that blank facial expression. You know, when we first saw him in the series, he actually had hair, but he lost his hair, which he's very sensitive about. But I think it's a good representation of him. But I think I actually might display that other portrait we were talking about. A few more shades in that and just the confident look. So the monster, let's look at the skin. I like the muscularization that they used on him. A lot of different greens and yellows built in. You can see even his vein on his bicep right there. And these are kind of the creatures he runs into. Very wacky, weird enemies, whether they're from outer space or somewhere, you know, in Planet A or Planet Z. That's what they call, or not Planet, City A, City Z, that's what they call them. But also it has almost like a reptile-like texture. The inside is done phenomenally, I think. It has a little bit of a moist resin effect to give you kind of that guts then different shades of purple and red really make it pop. Where the bones are broken off here, his rib bones look fantastic. And I like how they're breaking through the back. I am really loving every part of this piece. The paint, the sculpt, his guts just falling out. It's like a moment frozen in time. The beast has two like kind of shoulder horns is what I would call them. But again, great coloring on these. I like the wear and how they're broken off on top. He is a four-eyed creature, no glasses, but literally four eyes. I like how his eyes are bulging out. I don't know if that's the way he looked before or it's due to the punch, but you can even see like the red veins behind the eyes. And then this purple tongue on the inside with these yellowing teeth. Very sharp, cracked teeth, looks great. This is just a phenomenal piece, and they, not only the concept, but they executed on this paint and sculpt. It's very, very impressive. I'm a big fan. Sculpt, I absolutely love the sculpt, from the small details in his suit to the base to a lot of things we talked about with this monster right here. So I think the sculpt, honestly, is a 5 out of 5, especially for taking a 2D anime and bringing it into a 3D version with some realistic details. Paint, in my opinion, is equally as impressive, honestly. I love the different colors, how it pops, really gives you that anime feel. I love the reds they use for the inside of the monster, the different shades of green. I have to give the paint a 5 out of 5 in my opinion as well, which really surprised me because I didn't think the paint and sculpt would be as good. Now, value. Typically, we talk about value when I buy stuff at retail. I did not buy this at retail because I've been looking for a long, long time. They made 1,800 of these, which is quite high. That's a lot. Retail, I believe, was 600 or 700 euros, which is about 900 to 1,000 US, a little bit under that. Then you pay for shipping. Now, I've been looking for it forever, and it's going between 1,200 and 1,500 on the aftermarket. However, after I launched that other video, an awesome supporter of the channel actually reached out and said, Big Bad Toy Store just got them back in stock for $1,100 shipped. Go. So I went so fast. I was in the middle of a meeting. I dropped what I was doing, and I nabbed him. And Big Bad Toy Store delivered a week later. Fantastic condition. Very happy to have him. So does this have the X factor? Of course it does. This is one of my grails. This is not only really exciting before I got it, but since I've opened him up, he is awesome. So impressed with this guy. He's a 5 out of 5 statue to me. Now, I know that I ranked the other one a little bit lower, so the Extrumble won't really be which one is better, because I clearly think this one is, but it's going to highlight the differences in these two statues in case you're trying to make that decision, because they're both very different. We will be giving all of these statues away, plus additional ones at every 5,000 subscriber milestone. To win one of these statues, all you have to do is make sure you've liked this video, you've subscribed to the channel, you've hit that bell notification, and then just drop a comment below. Every 5,000 subscriber milestone, we are going to do a random drawing and pick a random comment and give one of these statues away, plus some additional ones I'm not showing right now. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Really appreciate it. So happy I have what used to be a grail here on my table. Let me know what you think of this piece, and I highly advise you to check out One Punch Man. It's on Netflix right now, and make sure to watch at least 3 or 4 episodes in, because it just gets better and better. In the meantime, drop me a comment on the way out. I really appreciate it. Take care.